Good evening and welcome to the new 21st Century Interactive Have I Got News for You, which, with the flick of a single button, viewers can now switch off. In the news this week, there are raised eyebrows at Tory Central Office as Stephen Norris unveils his hand-picked campaign team. The Labour Party is suspected of more dirty tricks as a mobile phone user is deluged with calls asking for kinky Swedish massage. And in Hendon, news leaks out that this week's edition of Just 17 includes a free poster of Britney Spears. On Ian Hislop's team, a comedian who says that in order to be successful in show business, you have to keep banging away. Well, it worked for Catherine Zeta-Jones. Dominic Holland. And with Paul Merton tonight is a Liberal politician who once survived a head-on collision with a lorry. That's what you get for sticking in the middle of the road. David Steele.
That joke is so old it's going to get a telegram from the Queen any minute.
Excellent. So that's the best we can do on the guest front, I'm afraid. Let's see if we fare any better with the
and
questions.
the joke front, by the sound.
Ian and Dominic. Here we go.
Oh, that's the Butcher of Grozny, or Mr. Putin, sir, as Tony calls him. What do? You're a sort of murderer. Yes, lovely.
It's amazing, though, because he's ex-KGB, and in the footage he was being shown around number 10 by Tony Blair, but if he's an ex-spy, he probably knows about number 10 already, doesn't he? He's probably going around going, Tony, you've changed your curtains.
He did bring a couple of cars with him. Have you seen...
Yeah, there's a car called a Zilly.
I think it's called a Zill, actually.
Oh, is it called a Zill?
We can have a look at it here.
All right.
In fact, he has two Zills.
Like Prescott?
I'm sure he's known as Two Zills Putin.
Do you have one in your new role in Scotland?
No.
Sort of Skoda?
Nothing as big as that.
But you had a number of different cars, haven't you, over the years?
Yes.
Many.
Some of them quite old.
Is it right you entered the Monte Carlo Rally several times? How many times?
About 4 times, I think.
Where'd you come?
Anywhere near Monte Carlo?
Got there every time, actually.
Yeah, it's good.
Was it a first past the post system in this race?
We saw the Queen there as well. Who else has she been entertaining over the years? Why was it so controversial?
I don't know why it's controversial. The Queen seems to entertain anyone unpleasant in the whole world who comes over. She had Ceausescu.
Yeah.
She just had Jiang Zemin.
The Chinese guy, the Duke of Edinburgh, apparently.
She sent a message to Robert Mugabe this morning. Congratulations on 20 years of independence. That was good timing.
It's interesting, because our farmers have shut up now, haven't they? They're not complaining at all, are they now?
Yes, this is the state visit by Vladimir Putin. During his visit to London, according to the Mail, Mr. Putin spent an especially long time at the Imperial War Museum. Shopping, presumably. Paul and David, eyes down.
That's Wall Street, I think. They thought there was going to be a huge sort of crash Monday, and it wasn't.
So what have the papers named Monday?
Well, it's not Black Monday, because it wasn't really that bad. It's Grey Monday. Beige Monday.
And what triggered all this?
Well, there were some people in America who decided that they were. I had no idea. And quite honestly, I couldn't care less.
Bill Gates lost a lot, didn't he? 17 billion he lost.
Another loser was Yahoo, the internet server, which lost 54% of its value. It's now called Oh Shit. But there's someone who was happy about this.
Me?
I was thinking about Gordon Brown.
Well, he thought the economy was overheating, and it isn't now. It's sort of underheating. which is much better.
Yes, right. Yes, Gordon Brown, of course, prefers the security of hard cash, generally, as we can see.
I've got some.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
This is so-called Grey Monday. Lastminute.com lost more millions in the crash. According to The Guardian, shares dived to a new low of 140 at one point, but then suddenly rallied, presumably as traders dialed in looking for quick flights out of the country. Ian and Dominic?
Oh, it's William Hague. Doing a stand-up. It's an asylum. He's going to be put in one. There's some refugees. Oh, they look evil, don't they? Oh, yes, indeed. And they're going to be...
A police van.
Put in a police van. And that's where they're going to put them.
That looks like a travel lodge. This is asylum seekers, isn't it?
It is. So what are Hague's plans that he suggested?
He's going to have detention centres.
Yes.
And they're going to be there for years.
What's he going to call them?
School.
Barracks.
Barracks.
It's one of his sillier ideas, because he thinks you can put them in camps and process it in 6 weeks, but it'll cost even more money, and they'll still have a right of appeal anyway. So I think it's just a way of getting into the paper.
And where did he nick the idea from, anyway?
The Labour Party, because they've set one up, which doesn't work either.
It's actually the German system that he's copying.
Really? Does that work?
No, not in any way.
Is this the German system between 1936 and 1945?
This is William Hague's plans for asylum seekers. Hague argues that Britain is a soft touch compared to other European countries. For example, asylum seekers arriving at the Belgian border are turned back almost immediately by the words, "Welcome to Belgium." And finally, Paul and Lord Steele.
Oh, this is
There's
obviously
Ken.
the mayoral elections, isn't it?
Yes, it's Ken,
yeah,
as you say.
Ken, yeah. He's supporting Harry Enfield, is that right?
They're supporting Harry Enfield. There's your candidate, I think.
Susan Kramer.
Susan Kramer.
Well remembered.
She's been supported
she's
by...
supporting Barry Norman.
Supporting Barry Norman.
Yeah.
And there's Dennis Skinner, who's just had a go at Ken Livingstone.
Tony Blair called Ken Livingstone a chat show politician. It's pretty rich, given that Blair will only appear on Richard and Judy.
I think he's done Des, hasn't he?
Has he? The tough one.
Yeah.
It'll be sooty soon.
Yes, Dennis Skinner did come out in favour of Frank Dobson. How else has Dobson boosted his popularity?
So that's a boost, is it?
They're boosting their popularity with a poster ad by Trevor Beatty, he of the Wonder Bra.
Hello,
fame.
boys.
Frank Dobson would look terrible in a bra. I can't see it, not with that beard.
Do you know what his slogan is?
Yeah, look at these.
Frank and to the point. So who was Ken partying with that we saw?
That was Fat Boy Slim.
Wow.
Anybody would know that. Who's got their finger on the pulse.
How do you know so much about Fatboy Slim?
He used to be called Slim Boy Fat. And then he put on some weight. And he's one of the world's top rave DJs.
Yes.
I think we're just on the edge of Ian's ignorance. Your sentence should confirm it. What else does he do?
He's responsible for the Ibiza sound.
He's actually working as a lookalike for someone at the moment, as the Mirror pointed out this week.
So you're called Ian Smug Boy Hislop.
Yes, it is the various celebrities declaring their support for the London mayoral candidates. Since standing as an independent, Ken Livingstone claims he's been given as much negative coverage in the media as a convicted Nazi war criminal, who incidentally is also way ahead of Frank Dobson in the polls. So at the end of that round, both teams, like the Sundance Kid, have achieved a quick draw, scoring as they have 4 points each. This week we welcome the world of tabloid journalese as we would welcome a rabid dog. To rank examples of the sub-editor's craft to identify Paul and Lord David. Tailors in hamster jam.
Yes, we know this one, don't we?
We know that one, yeah.
Oh dear.
Next question.
This is somebody was planning to make made a jacket. 100 hamsters have gone into this jacket, and animal rights protesters said this is terrible. And Geeves and Hawks, I believe, are the names of the tailors, Savile Row tailors. And
Jeeves, I think you'll find.
Is it Jeeves?
Could be. Sounds more likely, doesn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
How's it spelled?
G-E-I.
EIV.
Oh, that's the thing that threw me. You see, I was following the letters.
Yeah.
So Jeeves and Hawks, yes, that's right. And what have they been
So
responsible
let me see,
for?
Jeeves. How do you spell Jeeves? G-I-E-V-E-S.
Yeah.
Was there a special day at school where they wrote all these names on a blackboard? Because I must have been off sick. So it's the tailors they've made a gacket out of 100 hamsters.
Yes. Would you like to see what it looks like?
Yes, please.
Right, so would we, but unfortunately we're not allowed to show you.
Why?
Because we phoned up Geeves and Hawks. I'll mispronounce their name now, because they wouldn't allow us to show it.
But it was in the papers. You could have taken a photograph out of the paper.
No, we would be sued.
What, by the hamsters?
Sent to prison. In fact, we might be able to have a look at what we think it might look like.
Not the same one.
That's a very big hamster head, isn't it?
That's the most useful thing that anyone's ever suggested to me you do with a hamster. I got no sympathy with hamsters. They just sit in cages. We've had loads of them. They sit there and they just die on you and upset you.
Yeah, but that's not the hamster.
This way they get made into a coat. I'm all for it.
That's not the hamster's fault, the fact they sit in a cage. People put them in there. It's like saying Rudolph Hess, all he does is sit around in prison all day.
You know about the politician who was shouted at because his wife was wearing a fur coat, and somebody said, "Do you know what creature had to suffer and die so your wife could wear that?" And he said, "Yes, my mother-in-law." This anti-fur thing could spread. I mean, what's going to happen to Piers' robes?
Yes.
Who's Piers' robes?
Piers' robes. And they're made of... Would you explain to him, Paul?
Piers' robes, you know, it's the ermine when you go inside.
You're there. You know what it's made of?
Gerbils.
What?
Gerbils.
Gerbils.
No, he was Hitler's propaganda minister. It all comes round in the end,
Yes. Well, it's made of ermine, but you can choose either white rabbit or to have fake
Well,
fur, can't you?
all the new ones are fake. If you look at Jeffrey Archer's one, it's all... Yeah, it's true.
Aren't you chairman of the pro-hunting lobby, so aren't you sort of...
No, that's a previous life.
Right. Sorry, weren't you chairman of the...
Yep.
So you're quite in favour of killing defenceless animals?
I mean,
Well, perhaps you'd like
I
to
didn't-
chase the hamsters over fences before you...
I've never
Perhaps
chased...
you get a horse on a wheel and a hamster on a wheel and they could chase each other like that.
I've never chased anything over a fence, unfortunately, but I did defend it, yes.
You have to hunt hamsters if the kids let them out.
Yeah, it's gonna
You
back
don't
in.
actually. What you do is you get the cat. And the
very
cat
nice.
will find the hamster for you.
Lovely.
That's
And
cruel.
kill it.
You know you'll get bricks through your window now, Chris.
What, from you?
No way hamsters can pick
No,
up bricks.
this is a way of rescuing the hamster.
No way. The little tiny things.
No, if they collaborate,
One breeze block between 10 of them. Walking around Northampton, where's Hislop live?
Yes, there are several advantages of using hamsters in tailoring. Not only is the fur machine washable, but they turn the spin dry around themselves. Ian and Dominic, your spinning header. Girls on the pool.
Drinking, isn't it?
They're
It's about
drinking beer.
Drinking lots of beer to get drunk.
As opposed to what other reason?
To
the
get
actual-
fat.
Right.
For the pleasure. I'm actually all up for this because when I was growing up, the only chance I ever get any action was when they were drunk, which is quite nice.
That's quite sad.
Yeah, I didn't get a laugh either. Did I?
People were thinking, yeah, I can see that.
It's about girls becoming lads,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes, that's what
Zoe
I'm blaming
Ball
it
at the
on,
peak,
the
yeah.
laddish culture.
That's right.
They follow football, they drink pints of beer.
Yeah.
God.
Get into fights in pubs, leave it, all that.
Leave it, Wendy, she's not worth it.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
It is the news that single young women in Britain are drinking more alcohol than ever before. According to a recent report, women nowadays would rather end up getting drunk and having a good time than start a family. Although, unfortunately, one often leads to the other. The drinking habits of modern women were summed up by 22-year-old Kate Singleton. I do drink more than I should, but sometimes I will not drink much at all. Some of my friends drink a lot more than me. Some of them drink less. Surely, with sparkling conversation like that, who needs a drink? Which minor hiccups brings us reeling to the end of this session, with neither side seeming capable of a lead of any sort, locked as they are on 6. Odd one out seems a fair way to describe our next round, given that's what it is. Just one per team this week. Paul and David, your cool gang comprises Margaret Beckett, Jean Calment, Gin and Kin, and the Metropolitan Police.
I'm slightly hampered here by the fact I didn't know who three of these people are. I know who the Metropolitan Police are, I know who Margaret Beckett is. Top right-hand corner, Lou Reed's mother, I don't know who she is. Has it got something to do with something I don't know about?
It's not something that you'd associate with any of them, certainly.
Have they all stuffed a giraffe inside a telephone box? Do they all eat worms? I don't associate either of those two activities with any of those people.
Oddly enough, no. No.
Okay,
She's the oldest woman in France, isn't she?
The oldest person alive.
Yes.
And they're the
Or
oldest
was.
Asian people
have they made
alive.
records?
Why'd you say that, then?
Well, there was a sort of thing through my brain that was connected to my vocal cords and it came out. It basically starts as an electrical impulse.
Yeah.
This thing moves through the brain. So I think they've all made records. She's made a record. The top right woman. The oldest twins have made a record.
Yeah, Gin and Kin.
How's gin pronounced, spelt?
Gin.
Yes,
Metropolitan Police,
double J,
they couldn't
H-I-M.
have made a record. Margaret Beckett's the odd one out. She hasn't made a record.
Is the right answer.
Oh, no!
Yes, I was going to say it's something that David could have appeared in. You have, in fact, recorded what was it called?
I feel liberal all right.
Really? God, you must be very thankful that we haven't played that.
Very.
Right. But rather irritated that we're about to.
Very difficult. You can help me to change the face of British politics. Let's pull our country together instead of tearing it apart. That's what the Liberal Alliance is all about. Join us. It was recorded in 1977 in the middle of the night in New York.
That's no excuse.
The Metropolitan Police, you're not aware of their records that they had out? Both this year, in fact.
No.
2 rap records they've released.
What were they called?
Taking Care of Business was the first one, which was to encourage recruitment, and the other was to encourage clubgoers to inform on gangsters, featuring local rapper MC Maurice.
That's not a very hard street name, is it? Maurice. What happens if you get on the wrong side of him? He perms your hair. So why have you picked Margaret Beckett as the odd one out, then?
Well, her musical talents, fortunately, are never due for release.
There is a house in New York. Great horizons on.
To mark her 121st birthday, despite being partly deaf and blind, a techno-rap single was released by Madame Jeanne Calment, or Snoop Guidey Dog, as she was known. Ian and Dominic, this for you. Johnny Lee Miller, Jörg Haider, Rhodri Morgan, and a Womble.
I do know that, I read this week anyway, that Rhodri Morgan, the Welsh First Minister, if you like, he was involved, or maybe not this time, but he's done the London Marathon. I think, whether this time or not, but someone's probably run
As
the
a
marathon,
Womble, yeah.
As a Womble, yeah.
This year, yeah.
And Haider, the Austrian Nazi, is the odd man out because he's the only one who's goose-stepped the marathon.
Has Johnny
So-
Lee Miller run the marathon this year?
I don't know, but he's a very fit guy, and he's an actor, and he's probably, you know, he's fit.
That's pathetic.
No, I think that's right.
I know these two probably have. I assume Johnny Lee Miller has, and Haider is the odd man out because he is the only goose stepper. It took him
This
about
is
8 hours.
astonishing, isn't it? This is why Ian loses every week. His guest says the right answer, and he says that's pathetic. Absolutely. Good. He ran the New York Marathon.
Ah, right.
In fact,
Right.
yes.
With the bear.
Yeah, on the bear.
He was a liberal, you know.
Who?
George Haider.
He's a Nazi.
No, I know, but he was a bit off message. So we threw him out of Liberal International. It's absolutely true.
Really? Oh, good for you.
And
Yeah,
when
no,
he
well
said
done.
that Hitler's employment policies weren't too bad, we thought, oh, we can't really, you know.
You're liberal, but you're not
Yeah,
that liberal.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I bet that finished his political career.
The long-distance race was first named after the Athenian messenger Pheidippides, who ran all the way to Sparta to enlist help for the Battle of Marathon, although no one took him seriously because he was dressed as a rhinoceros. Which tireless efforts bring an end to this long-running round with Paul and David on their last legs, trailing as they are 10-8.
No.
And so to the missing words round, the climax of the show, the missing word there being anti. Our usual trawl through the week's headlines, including none more or fewer from this week's guest publication, the indispensable American Taxidermist, this month with a special pull-out section. So prepare for. Testosterone can improve what?
Verbal skills.
Scrabble score. Is it sex life?
It's your
manner of
word.
speaking.
Sore throats.
It's sex appeal.
It's your
I'll
word.
give you one, yes.
Thank you very much, it's kind of you.
Men's chat-up lines.
Ah, yes, verbal skills is what
That's what I said, right?
That's right. That's why I gave you a point. Next, a grande for what?
The National. Stuffing an owl.
I know this one.
A grande for...
If a private eye, this one was.
It is sadly the right answer, yes, private eye.
It was in the Telegraph.
And why is it a grande?
Because it's 1,000 issues, private eye.
Is that all you've sold? Next, the easiest way to mount what?
A horse is with blue tack. It's from Taxidermy America, isn't it?
American taxidermist. Yes, it is, actually.
Olympus.
Mount Olympus, no.
Rabbits.
Gerbils.
No, this
Gowls.
could take a while.
Rats, parrots. Sheep.
Mountbatten.
Dogs.
A blue whale.
The easiest way to mount batten.
It's a misprint.
A snapping turtle is the answer that we were never going to get. Next, Arctic explorer tries what?
Staying at home. Is it, stuffing a penguin
It's not
when
from
the wife's
American.
not looking? Can't fly away, you know.
No. It's to be a mind reader is the answer. Next, what for pandas?
Viagra.
There are two stories. There's another one about porn movies they're going to show pandas.
Yeah.
Sex films for pandas, yes. Zoo bosses are having to resort to panda pornography, apparently. One particular favourite is Debbie Does Whipsnade. And Finally, SAS cross-dresser in what?
In train incident.
Cubicle trashing incident.
No.
He was thrown off a train.
Yes, he was, and it does refer to that, so I'll give you the point. The wars again is what it refers to.
And I happen to know that because I was on the train.
Ian threw him off.
And I met him.
The 6:45 to Hastings.
Yep. He got off at Tunbridge. He came up to me and said hello, and he was an enormous 6-foot bloke wearing a nice little bonnet, a dress, and carrying a sort of fluffy rabbit. And he said, say hello to my stuffed toy, and he's a big bloke. And I said, yeah, hi. This is Joanne White.
Yes, and here he is.
There he is.
So Ian wins based on questions about his magazine and people he's met on the train.
Which stuff and nonsense means at the end of tonight's frolics, this week's Elephant Men are Paul and David with 10, whilst this week's Lion Kings are Ian and Dominic with 14. So a share in the spoils to our winners, a share in lastminute.com to our losers. But before we give them leave to leave, we're left with the prospect of our caption competition. Ian and Dominic, this for you.
Mandelson's scandal breaks.
If he thinks he's getting a fiver back, he's got another thing coming.
Is that Gordon Brown? I've never seen him
yeah.
smiling.
No, he's always smiling, Gordon Brown. Never
No,
a
he is.
frown with Gordon Brown.
All right, Paul and David.
2 short dogs fall photographer. Don't worry about his dog, his bite's worse than his bark.
Biggest...
What are you groaning for? You got him for nothing, didn't you?
What about...
What do you expect, Alan? 8 ball? Lazy dog doesn't move while acorn grows around it.
And I leave you with news that after his disastrous handling of the Rover sell-off, Stephen Byers takes on a job more suited to his abilities. In Washington, a protester picks the wrong moment to shout, "Kill the cops." And Mohammed Al Fayed's latest passport application arrives at the Home Office. Good night.